Hi guys, PJ here. Today I'm working on a 2009 Kia Picanto. I'm going to show you basically how to get the factory fitted radio out without damaging anything and what tools you're going to need to do that. So, seeing as we've just started, let's get on with the tools. First things first, you're going to need a plastic leverage device such as this, not a screwdriver or anything metal, because this is very soft plastic and will easily dint and look a mess when you put it all back together again. So don't use metal, guys. Get yourself one of these, you know, car shops, Amazon, that type of place, for about £1, no big deal. And what we're going to do is start by levering the bottom corner here. Yeah, so we're going to pop that in and sort of pry slightly. It's basically on poppers all the way around, so you'll hear it go ping and it'll pop out, and they are quite tight. I mean, this radio's never been out from new by the look of it, and when I popped the bottom here, actually the top piece came out, so you know, it is a bit of a worky way around the exterior edge of it until it's all popped loose. In fact, the only thing you've really got to watch on these is the corners here. The odd time I've seen people have a DIY go at this and it cracks, and you've just got to, like I say, ease it around the corner rather than sort of go up too high, lever, and then it puts a lot of stress here and fractures it. You don't want that. So this pulls forward once you've popped everything. I'll show you the clips that hold it. There you go. There's these clips that actually hold it into the lugs on the dashboard there. There you go. And they are quite sturdy. Now at the top here you've got your hazard warning lights, maybe some other ones depending on the model of car you've got, and they're on pinch connectors, so all you basically do is push down on the little tabs, yeah, so squeeze and pull out. Now the tab can be at the top or on the side depending which switches you've got. I mean, this car's got a lot of dummy blanks in it, so we are, you know, only got a couple of cables to worry about, so go ahead and pinch them down and pull your cables out. With those pinched, we can now go ahead, remove the fascia. Like I was saying, there's your hefty clips that you've just pulled out there. Pop that to one side safely. And then you will notice basically crosshead Phillips screws. 1, 2 buried down there, 3, 4. Now I highly recommend a magnetic screwdriver for this, because if you undo one of these and it disappears down into the abyss of your dashboard, it's you know, nearly impossible to find it and get it back again. So just bear that in mind. Magnetic is the way forward for these. So like I say, go ahead, remove all 4 of these. Keep them in a safe spot. You are going to need them because you're going to need the brackets off the side of the radio. When all 4 are successfully removed, give the radio a bit of a wiggle, yeah. Now what I recommend at this point is to put something, maybe a thick cloth or some cardboard, over this area, maybe over the top of your gear lever, yeah. Because this plastic here, like I say, is quite easy to scratch, and this is a big steel device. It's very weighty and it's metal and it's got some sharp edges, so you don't want it cutting into this and making a right mess of it. So if possible, wedge something under it just to take the weight off. As my improvisation to stop that happening. Like I say, anything really, just a barrier between the two. Once you've got something in the way, you can sort of wiggle this thing around and it will come out. It can be quite stubborn because, as you can see, look, the lugs get stuck behind the plastic. You've just got to ease them past each side without scratching the further bit each side. So you don't want to scratch this bit, just watch what you're doing with it. With the unit pulled forward and resting securely, you've got standard ISO connections. Yeah, now these are industry standard connectors that should go in pretty much all aftermarket radios, and you have what's called a, pop this out and show you if I can. That's quite a tight one. There we go. We have a custom aerial connector on these. Now this is actually the same sort of design you use on some Volvos, etc., so it should be readily available, like I say, Amazon or car shops, you know, but you will need a converter to go from this to a normal DIN aerial connector, male aerial connector, that goes into whichever aftermarket radio you're going to need. To get that out, you just push that little pin down on the top there and pull, and that comes out. And then you've got this block of 3 colourful ones just here, which we get that, pull that out. Probably going to have to support the radio at this point, guys. I don't want to let it slip. With these removed, simply by pushing the pin in at the side and pulling, they're both got the same sort of clip on. Look, one's offset lower down than the other. That's because one's power and one's for speakers. Okay, so you can't get them the wrong way around when you plug them back in the new radio. This connector here is for steering wheel control. So if your car's got like volume on the steering wheel, stuff like that, that would normally run that type of thing. You can tuck this out the way down the dashboard. This particular car hasn't got any controls on the steering wheel for volume and stuff, so this is totally redundant. If yours does, you have to contact your retailer and order a interface that goes from here to your aftermarket radio. Normally, off the top of my head, I believe they're about £30–40. I don't normally deal with the retail side of things, so you would have to shop around and find out on that particular one. But if I pop that out of the way, like I say, so it doesn't get in the way, and we're left with this nice big aperture now. So, going back to your radio, see these brackets on the side with 4 Phillips screws holding them in? Yep. You're going to have to take those off and line them up on your new radio. So, what I'm going to do now is basically start putting a new radio in this thing, and I'll skip forward at various sections to show you, what it looks like and basic tips. Full installation guides and full reviews on radios are on my channel elsewhere, so if you want to look at a radio features or reviews, have a quick look. Okay, quick update at where we're at, guys. We've ran the microphone to above the mirror here for this particular radio because it's Bluetooth. Cabling runs along the top here. And then basically we've popped the trim panel off, which is basically a leverage tool behind it, and pop, and it comes off on poppers. You just pull it away. We've got a DAB aerial here, which is trying to stick to the window, but typical England, it's peeing it down with rain. And if you can see all the condensation on the window, yeah, sticky things, not good at this time of year. But anyway, there's the aerial. I will dry that out shortly with the heater. And running your cable down here, we took it basically down here. Bring it down the side here. You can pop the end panel off on these dashboards, so there's like a plate, and you put your plastic leverage tool in and pop it off. I would show you, but like I say, the heavens are absolutely pouring down, so it wouldn't be good for the car or the footage. And then we run it up underneath the glove box over the heater wiring connector that's here, so it doesn't dangle down. And then, hey presto, there's the other end of your DAB connector. DAB aerial connector and your microphone jack plug there. There's the wiring harness for this particular radio. It's just plugged in. Also has a USB for this particular radio, which we've sort of temporarily put down here in this little cubby hole. So there's a female USB there, look, so you can plug things into that. Improvised aerial adapter. I had a Nissan one lying around, which does plug in, but you have to take the outer casing off. So I had one of them in my tool bag, and that's gone in, because otherwise we'd have to order one. And at this time of year, currently recording this, it's over the Christmas period, so everywhere is shut. I've got no chance of getting the proper one to plug in correctly, but this will do the job just fine. Like I say, it does plug in, it's just not got its plastic shield around it anymore. So, improvisation is the name of the game. Like I say, one lying around in my tool bag. So let's move on now to the radio and getting the side plates on it. First up, if your radios come with a cage, which most of them do, you need to lose that. Take it off, pop it back in the box. You're not going to need it for this installation. You're also not going to need the plastic trim that pops around the edge of it at all. So again, you can take that off, pop that in the box out of the way. What we are looking at is all these many holes at the side here. What we're going to do is sit the two radios next to each other and line them up. So in other words, this edge will sit at the same sort of distance for the fascia that the original was. So, in essence, what you're going to do, line up the plastic edge, with the plastic edge of the original, take this plate off, move it across to here, make sure it sits in the exact same position. Pretty obvious thing, but I've seen this done. Make sure your radios are the right way around, don't want one upside down and the other one knocks, otherwise it won't sit right. Make sure top, bottom, bottom. I know that sounds really bad, but honestly, the amount of people I've seen do this where they've actually screwed the plates on and one of the radios was the wrong way around, just make sure they line up. So we're going to take that off now, guys, put it on that one, flip it over, do the exact same on the other side. Seeing as the rain's baited off, I'm just going to quickly show you that's the end panel that I popped off earlier on to get the cable down and behind it. This is the door open. It has baited off, but your toolboxes don't do well in this kind of weather in England, do they? So let's get on with it. One thing with these screws, I will just point out they are literally made of butter. They are soft as hell. Make sure you get the exact right size screwdriver head for these, or you will just muller them. They are absolutely, oh god, they are so weak, it's unbelievable. You'll round them without even looking at it. So make sure you got the right size screwdriver, guys, otherwise you're going to knacker them, and then getting them out is a pain in the backside. It really is. Quick tip before we slide the radio in. If at this point you've tested it and you think yes it's fine, make sure it'll store and hold a radio station. So store a preset, turn your ignition off, take the key out, put the key back in again, turn it back on. It should go straight back to that radio station. If it goes back to the setup menu, it's forgotten everything. If it does that, you need to swap two wires around. yellow and red. So they're both on bullet connectors. Get that one out of the way. Basically unplug them and put red to yellow and yellow to red. And that will cure your memory problem. So in other words, they look like that. Just putting the side brackets on, I thought I'd quickly mention this to you. If you're having difficulty getting them on because they've got the little lugs that stick up everywhere and these are normally recessed, you can normally just tap them flat and it makes the brackets sit a lot nicer, because like I say, these are normally domed and these little tiny bits here are L-shaped, you know, so you can just bend them and tap them straight. It makes them sit a lot nicer. Once you've got your brackets on, you can then go ahead and pop it back in the dashboard, see if it lines up. And with a bit of luck, guys, it's going to look like that when you've finished. So it sits neatly flush along here, around the edges and at the top. These radios do stand out a bit at the bottom. So when you're lining it up, obviously that's going to line up flush with the plastic. That's going to have a slight recess. Not much, only a couple of millimetres, but I'm sure you'll agree that looks a damn sight better than the factory original one and does sit very, very nicely in the aperture. So basically, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully this was helpful to somebody somewhere. Bye for now.